Welcome back to another video. In this video, we are going to study gauge in SwiftUI. So let's start by creating a new file and name it as gauge playground. So gauge shows current level of value in relation to a specified finite capacity. And this was actually introduced in iOS 16, so you cannot use it below iOS 16 like with iOS 15, 14 or 13. You only have this in iOS 16 and above. And in the real world, an automobile gauge is a close example of this SwiftUI gauge. And yeah, so let's just see how we can use it in SwiftUI. I'm going to have a vstack in here, and then we can type gauge, and you can see we have different initializer with which we can create gauge. But let's just start with this basic one, which accept a value and then an optional closed range and a view. So let's just provide okay, and by default the gauge has a range of 0 to 1. So if you do not want to specify your range, you can use default range, which ranges from 0 to 1. So for the value, now in here we can specify, because we are going to use a default range, so let's just say maybe 0.3. So and then for this label we can press enter, and we can write anything that conforms to our view. So let's just have maybe a text, maybe that says download progress or something. And you can see we have a nice bar, and it has a grayish color, grayish background, and the filled progress has a blue color. And if you increase your value, this is the progress or something, so maybe 0.8. Now you can see our bar has increased or moved to the 80% of its width. And we can just give a padding to our vstack so that it has a space. Yeah. And yeah, so this is how you can create a simple gauge. And if you want, you can actually use a state with gauge. Like we can create a state in here. Let's just say maybe progress, and give it a default value of maybe 0.6. And now we can use this state, and remember, we do not have to write $sign in here. And this is because gauge only displays a value, it does not manipulate it. And we only provide the $sign when we have to use a state for some binding. But this is not a binding, this is just for displaying a value. So that's why we do not have a $sign with this gauge. And now if you have maybe a button here somewhere, let's just say maybe download progress increase or something. Of course this is not going to be a button in real life, but I'm just trying to make you understand how you can if you implement a button, or if you have a mechanism that increases a progress, then this bar is going to increase over time. And let's just give this button a style. And then when you tap on it, we can increase our progress to maybe 0.95 or something. And yeah, let's just give spacing to our vstack. Yeah, looks nice. So now if I press or tap on this button, we can see our progress has increased. So this means the gauge can work with a state. And yeah, and if you want, you can of course provide your own range for the gauge. Like maybe we can use another gauge in here. Yes, let's just use our own value, maybe like 50, because we are going to use a range in here. And let's just start from maybe 20 to 150 or something. And now let's just have this, so we can have a text that says custom range. So now we have another gauge, and now it has a custom range. And yeah, and if you want, you can actually write or provide the minimum and maximum and the current value label for gauge as well. So after the curly braces in here, we can write current value label, and we have this completion. So you can press enter, and here we can write anything that conforms to a view. But let's just have a text that says the current label, and it's 50. And now we have this current label in the center, and we can just use minimum value label as well. Press enter for the completion and write text maybe 20. And it's a requirement. If you are going to use a minimum, then you have to provide a value for maximum label as well. So let's just use 150, because this is the maximum, this label maximum value of the gauge. So now we have our minimum, maximum and current label. And if you want, you can change the color of this progress bar or something, I would say, like the completed portion of the bar. So we can use tint in here, and maybe use dot green, so that we have a green color for this bar. And you can use any color. And if you want, you can also use gradients, like you can simply write a gradient. And for the color, let's just use maybe dot red, dot yellow, and maybe green dot 40. Now we have a gradient with all of these mixed color. And we can also change the style for our gauge, like instead of this default, maybe if you want to use different style, you can use gauge style. And if you press start, you have all these different options that you can use. Let's just try this circular one, and you can see we have a very nice circular gauge in here. You can also change the color for your labels, like maybe for this one we can use maybe a color of green. And for the maximum, let's just have maybe a color of dot red, and minimum maybe dot color of yellow. Sorry, not the font, the color. So just like that, you can customize every part of your gauge. And you can actually try different other style, like maybe this linear capacity. So yeah, so I guess this is all about the gauge. And remember, it looks much similar like a slider, but it's not. A slider has the option to change the value. It's on the gauge is only for display, for view. And yeah, the default range for the gauge is 0 to 1. If you want, you can provide your own range. We can provide the current, minimum and maximum labels. We can change the style for the gauge, and we can use a different color for this for the bar of the gauge. So that's it for this video. If you have anything in mind, let me know in the comment, and I will see you in the next one.